I'm learning a lot right now with social media because the videos have started doing well. You know, the 50 States Marathon Challenge took off, got to 110,000 followers in 2024. Today is January 3rd of 2025. And so now that I'm in this whole world of social media and like I'm trying to make this a career path, I'm learning all these things. So the first thing that I've learned is that you got to be very careful what you promote, right? So when it comes to promoting brands, that's something you got to be careful of. But as well, when you're fundraising money or doing any type of ask, anytime that you're asking someone to do something, it makes them less likely to watch the next video. They scroll out of the video, the engagement goes down. You got to do it when engagement is still high from all your other videos selectively. Because I've done 4 fundraising videos in a row and I can definitely see that the engagement is sloping down. It used to be the case I would post a video and in the first like 20 minutes, I'd have 1,000 likes. And it's been an hour and the video's at like 700 and with the like to view ratio, I can just tell that it's not going to perform as well. So part of me wants to delete this video that I just edited because, I spent about 2 hours editing it. I ran a marathon for this challenge that I did where if we raised $10,000 for this campaign that I'm doing before the 7 Continents Marathon Challenge for cancer research and for food insecurity, then I would run a marathon. And, incredible life achievement. We raised $10,000. It was $12,800 in 24 hours, which is insane. Like, I would give up a whole month of engagement to achieve that, right? And to do it in one day is amazing. Now, I was trying to see hey, could we try to get this to 20,000 or 15,000 over the next couple of days, just while the momentum is high. But at the same time, what I should have been thinking is, okay, we've had a really good push. Let's pull back because it was a big ask to get there. And for me to continue asking, people are just going to be less and less inclined. And so that's a lesson that I've learned now. But what this teaches me is a couple things. First is know your worth, because whenever you promote a brand, your engagement's going to go down, which is worth something to you, right? That's my life is social media now. That's my career path. So I got to make sure that I get paid whenever I encroach on my lifestyle, right? Or on this vehicle that I built up. The viewers don't necessarily agree to it 100%, but they understand that doing sponsored posts is one of the ways that you are able to have a career path in social media, which is so weird how that all works. It's very difficult to actually succeed in social media, I feel like, because you got to always have content. That way engagement stays high even when you throw in one of these posts. So another lesson there is maybe it is good to do affiliate stuff through my stories because the engagement of the videos doesn't go down. Maybe the engagement of my stories goes down, but that's something that only I can see. Engagement of the videos is something that everyone can see. The likes on the video, everyone can see that. I got to be careful with the metrics that are open to the public because there's, when you hit 10,000 likes on a video, it's more likely to go viral because you get over that little segment of is this going to be a good video to watch? If it has that 10K, then people are going to think oh, this is a video that's good. Just subconsciously, they're going to see the whole screen all at once, be hooked in on the video, look over, see that has that, click on the comments, and just know from that, okay, this is going to be a good video. So anyways, know your worth. When I ask brands or when brands reach out and I say hey, this is my rate for a video, I got to know that that's what I'm worth because when I put out a video about fundraising, which is not even about promoting something, I'm not making a dime from it, engagement goes down. So then when I'm making money from it, engagement's still going to go down. It's worth, getting paid because I know my worth, right? I've built up this account and this following and reputation and all these different things. That's the first lesson. Second lesson is that don't spend time trying to fix a mistake. Just learn and then move forward or just make better content, right? So, and this goes for everything. Fix the mistake if it's gut-wrenching, if it's terrible, but don't try to be perfect. So, the engagement rate is at 5%, right? It's probably going to slope off and not get, maybe 100,000 views or something like that, and then that's it. Okay. Which is great. A lot of content creators would kill for that. I just have a very high standard for the content that I put out. Usually 200,000 views with a 10% engagement rate is the lowest that makes me happy. And that's massive. That's a huge ask. to get 20,000 likes per post, it's very difficult, but I want to do it. So I'm willing to kind of like be mad at the fact that this didn't perform so that I can learn the ways to get there consistently, because that's not just a full-time career. That's like a platform that is worth like that's multiple full-time careers. If you're able to maintain that engagement across, a whole year of content. But anyways, that's the engagement, by the way, that someone who has like 500,000 to 1 million followers would get. Okay. I had that for the past like month and a half, 2 months. And it's kind of slipping off now because I'm making this content about fundraising. So I just need to pull back some of the entertaining content. But don't try to fix those mistakes that you've made if they're not really that big. Just learn from them and then move forward and make better content. So if you make a mistake in life, don't try, go back and fix it, right? But don't try to start over from scratch or be so upset about the fact that you made a mistake that it prevents you from making progress moving forward. Just learn from it today. It's not that it was bad. It was just that it was less than you wanted it to be, right? And so, okay, in order for me to go up this mountain, I just have to make it a little bit better next time and not worry about going back to make it much better right now. Because ultimately, if I deleted that video, edited a new one, posted it, it didn't get as much engagement because the first video, people already had seen that. And so the hook or whatever it is, they're less likely to watch that second video. When you've made a mistake, the die is cast. I think that's the phrase. So don't really try to upheave earth, heaven and earth. I think that's the word or the phrase to right this wrong, but instead just move forward and learn the next go round. So what am I going to do different? I'm going to be posting entertaining videos. This recap from the 50 States Marathon Challenge, that's what people want to see. That will get engagement rate high again right before I do the 7 Continents Challenge at the end of this month. And then that's a full career path. At that point, because then I just maintain that for these next few challenges that I do. And, that's another thing I got to keep in mind is that when I reach out to brands for another challenge and I say, hey, it's going to cost X amount of dollars, multiple thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to sponsor this, series of videos, I got to understand that when the engagement is high, it's worth a lot to the brand. Because let's say I only did one video now when engagement is low, then I still have to get the worth out of the video. So the brand has to pay for that, but then they're not getting as many views because the engagement isn't as high. It's worth more for them to pay more for the views during the series because the engagement will be higher because it's still happening versus now that it's over, quote unquote, in people's mind, the 50 states. It's just a little bit different. We're leading up to the 7 continents thing, but I've posted 4 videos about the 7 continents. So videos have done very well because they've been viral videos, but they haven't been very engaging or they haven't built that relationship yet. I did a whole year of content building up the 50 States Challenge. Then with this, I've only done 4 videos. And so I got to keep that in mind as I'm promoting something. It was a massive undertaking to try to fundraise $44,000. That was the whole thing. But at the same time, that was the cost of the 7 continents trip. And Ketone and I talked through it, and we just figured that would make the most sense to fundraise the same amount because everyone wanted to help me pay for this trip. And so then, if we were to go out and fundraise that same amount, I figured people would be in support of it. Now that the trip has been paid for by Ketone, people are less inclined to donate because it's done, right? So it's how do you incentivize people to go above and beyond instead of out of necessity in the moment? So then there's that. And I think there's one more lesson. Oh, so the final lesson here would be that a lot of people would see this as a bad thing. At first it's really gut wrenching. It's oh, the video that I spent 2 hours working on is not going to perform well. And oh man, the past 4 videos that I posted have not been doing well. Man, it's been a while since I've gotten 20,000 likes on a post. So all these things kind of go through your head. And then first off, I got to just figure out or understand how grateful I should be in the moments where I achieve those results, right? Because it's very difficult to do that consistently. And I'm getting 10 times the amount of views as someone my size. And, there's so many things to be grateful for. You don't want to focus on the mistakes. You want to focus on everything, all the progress. And from that, be okay that the mistakes aren't living up to what you could be, the potential that you have. And as well, just keep in mind that it's better that you learn these things now before you become this 10 million followed content creator. Because it's not going to be the case that I learned this lesson then, but let's say I got to that spot and then I started fundraising, first fundraiser, and then I post a video and like it doesn't perform at all with 10 million followers. It's really easy because you have all the confidence in the world to lose that when you're at that spot because, you know, you just don't know these things until you actually do them. I'd rather do it now when I have 100,000 instead of 10 million and learn the lesson now before I get to that spot because I know that I'll continue doing this until I get there. And so I'd rather, like, it's difficult to learn this in the moment or to switch your way of thinking, but wouldn't you rather face the mistake earlier than later? A lot of people put things off for the future, but I would much rather take it on right now. That way, when the time comes, I'm ready. You know, I fundraise again at 10 million and I'm like, no, I've got a game plan for how to do this. We're only going to do selective announcements after really big videos. That way engagement is high and like we have the highest conversion rate and all these different things. And we might not even need to promote it too much, you know? So it's good to learn these lessons now. But the third lesson was that most people who work a career path will do work that gets submitted and they're doing it on their own. They get a check, right? And there's a lot of, it's very comfortable to have that security, but at the same time, it's capped. And then as well, you don't have that immediate feedback loop, right? I think a lot of career paths or, you know, even entrepreneurs don't have that immediate feedback loop. The goal for a startup is to find the most immediate feedback loop on their product. That way they can iterate and improve as fast as possible because, you know, when you're a startup, you're running on cash, which is like your lifeblood. And if you run out of cash, then you're done. So even if you have the greatest idea in the world, if you don't iterate and improve fast enough to get a financial model going and make enough to scale it up, then you're done. So it really is life and death. In a similar way, that's what I'm doing with content. However, the way that I'm different than a startup is that a startup has to talk with all of their individuals. They don't have data right in front of them. The nice part about being a content creator and being a math guy is that I can see the views and that's my progress report. You know, someone who works a career path, they might have to wait a month to hear that they've been doing something wrong in the past month. And it's okay, like, you know, let's fix it this next one and here's what we'll do different. And they don't know the quality of their work is good today. They've got to wait, which is, it's good. It feels better because it's like, okay, I get to push this off for the future, but it's bad because you don't get to understand that you're, you know, not living up to that full potential today. I'd much rather, even though at first it sucks and it's a little bit annoying and like gut wrenching and my heart drops, I'd rather a piece of content not do well immediately. And so I can see and learn the lesson right now, make a video about it for my Daily Thoughts YouTube account so that y'all can watch it, and then learn, iterate, improve tonight when I post a video. Because look, that improvement cycle is less than 24 hours. Most people have to wait 31 days or 2 weeks or whatever it is. So like, I got to see this as a blessing in disguise that, holy cow, the career path that I'm pursuing is extremely scalable, uncapped, and I have immediate feedback without having to contact people. I can just view the numbers. If you know how to interpret the numbers. Okay, in the first hour, the engagement rate is not where it usually is. Usually it's 20% higher than when it levels out after a week. And then after 2 weeks, it goes down, sub this percentage. What that looks like for me would be like, usually it's around 10%. Then after like a full day, it drops down to like 7 to 8%. And then after like a full week, it's down to like 5 to 6, right? And the views have kind of like leveled out after 36 hours. So maybe it's around like 6 to 7% after like a whole week. But then now I get another viral video down the road. This post already has 50,000 likes. So then this viral video promotes this video. It gets a lot more views. Less people like it for whatever reason because it's 3 weeks ago. You go into the comments, you see 3 weeks. It's so weird how this works. Like when you're just scrolling on your For You page, you'll like content and you don't know where it is because it's your first time viewing the post. When you follow them and then it's in your home tab, or when it's in the For You for Reels feature, and you're just scrolling and then you see a content creator multiple times, like you're just less likely to like a post that already has a ton of likes. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like this, when you don't know who they are and you see a viral video, you're gonna like it. When you know who they are and you see a viral video, it's just a little bit less likely. I think maybe I'm completely wrong with that, but that's the fun part as well about this job is like, it really is life or death. It takes a lot of guts. You got to be really bold. You got to be very resilient and persistent. You got to pursue this as like your number one thing, full focus. So, one thing that's been going through my mind, like these are all the things that I want to have as an entrepreneur, as a father in the future, as like a leader of some sorts, right? So it's good that the career path I'm pursuing is forcing that out of me. Because, I would have defaulted to not living up to that full potential anywhere else if I had more leniency, but I don't have that here. So then why am I so grateful that I get to pursue this path? It's because it's really requiring the best out of me. And so, yeah, I think it's good. It's just reinterpreting the way that things are happening as good and not as bad signs. I was going to say one more thing. I forgot. I will say this. Why not us? 7 continents in 7 days. $12,000 raised for Feeding America and American Cancer Society. I know that I'll raise, like, one of the ideas long term, which is why I need to learn these fundraising lessons now, is to make my content kind of documentary style for, it's called, like the 7 wonders of the world. I want to make a challenge called Wyatt's 100 Wonders. So if you hold up like 2 W's, it spells out wow. And so like people can go to the 100 wonders of the world. They can travel there and then hold up that as a photo to kind of spread the idea. But anyways, like with each one of those 100 wonders, I want to attach a location, right? Of course, because the 100 wonders of the world, plus a cause of some sort that can make the world better in a meaningful way. So food insecurity would be a grain silo. I don't know, like, or like the Great Pyramids would be X, Y, and Z. You go visit this place that's beautiful and then somehow connect an idea to that for fundraising. Make a documentary around it. Do one of these a month for 8 years. And that's the content in about the next 2 to 3 years, right? After I do 200 countries, after I do the 1,000 bucket list items, that would be what comes up next. And that way I can like have a life while also doing that challenge. But then when I do the 100 wonders of the world, I'll be fundraising, let's dream big here, y'all. Like there's no reason to dream small. If I want to make $1 billion one day or whatever it is, like I want to fundraise $100 million for charity over the course of those 100 wonders videos. Okay, so then for me to learn this lesson now, like goodness gracious, like $10,000, whoo, that's amazing. Especially the fact that I'm 23 years old. But if I'm going to have to raise $100 million, if that's the goal, if that's the height that I want to achieve with my life, okay, then like, man, learning these mistakes or the lessons with $10,000 is great because I'm going to have to scale up and get to 100 million, right? And there's several lessons to be learned. And like, I'll talk with different charity organizers and CEOs of nonprofits and just, I'll learn so much over the next lifetime, It's great that I'm facing these lessons now. Don't turn away from it. I had dinner with a buddy last night, a few buddies. One of them was saying that the lesson from 2024 was that he wanted to learn how to embrace change. And that's what he learned is that, like, it's okay to go through change. Well, embrace growth as well. Embrace discomfort. Understand that if something goes wrong, that's a good sign that at least I'm pursuing something and I know that what I did was wrong. A lot of people are in the dark. Can you imagine if I was blind in the dark? That's a phrase I really like to use. You're pursuing this path, but you don't know when you're in the wrong and you don't know where you are. So it's like you have no idea how to orient yourself or to become better. You'd much rather like be aware of this bad thing that has happened as early as possible. And honestly, instead of just like being aware of it, you want to really confront it, seek it out. Maybe I shouldn't be seeing these as bad things. Maybe whenever I post a video moving forward, I should be like asking like, okay, what's going to happen with this video? Oh, I think because this hook is super compelling, I'm going to get 50% of the viewers as non-followers. And so then that means that there's going to be a lot of views and the engagement rate is going to be a little bit lower because X reason, you know, like I need to be pursuing content like that. So yeah, it's a wonderful life if you choose to make it so. And we're going to make it the most wonderful life ever. One day at a time, one lesson at a time. And today we learned a very valuable lesson. Why not us?